Yes, folks, welcome back here to my whiskey channel, Whiskey Wismar. My name is Christopher, and for my fifth review, I choose this Wemyss Malts Bunnahabhain from 1987. 30-year-old Bunnahabhain, bottled by the independent bottler called Wemyss Malts. And while I let this whiskey that needs quite a lot of air take on some oxygen a little further here in the glass, I can tell you a few things about this independent bottler as well as Bunnahabhain distillery. So, Wemyss was always involved in the whiskey business for almost now 200 years. Pretty close by Wemyss Castle that you can see here on the cardboard box, a little etching there, a wooden etching. They were involved in John Haig, none other than John Haig, and his construction of Haig's distillery that is now Cameron Bridge, one of the largest grain whiskey distilleries in Scotland. So, and the barley that is harvested on the Wemyss estate and supplied by the Wemyss estate is well sought after by the whiskey makers of Scotland. So was just natural that due to their love for malt whiskey and the involvement in the malt whiskey industry, they also choose to bottle their own whiskies, and this is what they are doing now for a couple of years. And there's none other than Charles McLean responsible for the composition of these whiskies and for selection of casks. So a relatively new independent bottler, but their mainstay or their main feature is that they try to describe the whiskies not primarily through cask type or distillery itself, but instead through characteristic descriptors. So in this case of this Bunnahabhain, it is chestnut and apple chutney, and in a moment we'll see whether that is actually pinpointing the main aromas well or not. The whiskey that is bottled here is a Bunnahabhain from the Isle of Islay, founded in 1881. So with that, it is not nearly as old as the whiskey history of the Wemyss family, but it's quite a versatile Islay distillery located near Porter's Cake, and they produce lots and lots of millions of liters each year of peated and unpeated whiskies. So this one here is an example of unpeated Bunnahabhain. And now we'll get to nosing, tasting, and then rating this particular 30-year-old Bunnahabhain. Alright, let's see. So chestnut and apple chutney. Let's see. Fits it perfectly. So the first whiff, the first nose, is sweet chestnut. In German it's called Marone. So sweet chestnut that are edible. You can buy them on particularly now on Christmas markets that we have here now commencing in the north of Germany. And this is perfect descriptor for the initial nose. So it's not overtly oaky. It is woody to some degree, but also a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of sourness. Something you only have when you pass by or eat roasted sweet chestnuts. If you pour the dram initially, it's rather closed off. So this is why I let this sit here for now almost 40 minutes in the glass. It needs lots and lots of air. Not too much water, but air is absolutely necessary to reveal all the secrets from this long, more than 30-year-old maturation period. It comes from a butt, so it only described as a butt, so not too sure whether it's a refill butt or first fill. But since it's not too much in your face with overt sherryness, it could be a refill butt. Yeah, there are dates, figs, there's a little bit of vanilla custard, vanilla cream that is carried and accompanied by a slight sulfury note, so a little bit fainty in a way that it reminds me of unlit matches and only faint traces of it. So it's really complex. The nose is quite complex. There's also this association of waxed apples. Sometimes when you buy apples, they have this waxy sheen on them, and if you cut them open, then sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's just me, haven't had one in a while, and you have this, it's not directly a candle, but it has this waxy nose to it. And then, of course, apple as well. A little bit of rhubarb, maybe stewed rhubarb, not freshly cut. So mix that with the sulfur, the chestnut, and the dates and figs. You have a very complex nose. So let's see about the taste. Mm-hmm. It's drying pretty quickly, but then salivating. Oh. Now it's dry again, sweet and sour. Definitely not a one-trick pony on the palate either. So sweet, sour, a little bit of bitterness from the oak. There's hints of malt, yeah. Malt, stout. So the sort of the product, the outcome of malted barley can also be stout. Sort of even some. Now I also have sort of a medicinal component to it, but it's gone again. Now this is really a chameleon. Complex on the palate as well. I have to take another sip. A little bit of apple vinegar and caramelized oak, obviously. This sulfury note now morphs into hard cheese, very strong hard cheese, but only faintly. It's really hard to pinpoint. It's all very much interwoven. Raspberries, tart raspberries, not the sweet ones that you find in jams and marmalades. Grapey components, like you douse those tart raspberries with brandy. Okay, now for the finish. Now the initial taste was very nutty, sort of throwing the chestnutty flavors onto the palate now. It's medium. It's warming, oaky, sweetness, there's honey in there, coffee notes, roasted nuts, or freshly ground coffee. Yeah. Orange marmalade, bitter, with the orange zest in it, the English marmalade. Complex through and through, from nose through the palate to the finish. Quite a demanding whiskey. But I like it very much. It's a great example of a very old school complex sherry whiskey that's not too much in your face like many of the modern really dark sherry that are even advertised and marketed as dark sherry, but so not at all. It's beautiful malt whiskey, complex and rewarding, and I reckon the quality will only go up as it takes on more air and is allowed to breathe a little further here in glass. So nice whiskey, very well selected there by Wemyss Malts, and quite recommended, even though it is more on the pricier side. So 230 euros you have to pay for this bottle. So now, how would I rate this? It's a very high mark. It's great benchmark whiskey for sherry maturation, but not for not in-your-face sherry maturation, but complex and well-mannered one. So I would give this 90 points. It's not transcending that this at all in a way that it really blows my mind. You really have to search and work this whiskey to reveal all its secrets. And it's not too forthcoming in that regard. Still, great stuff. And maybe at the end of this bottle, this will then go up to 91 or even 92. Maybe I'll revisit this one. Alright, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this interesting. Have a look out for Wemyss Malts. They have quite a number of bottlings each year, different releases throughout the year, spring, summer and autumn releases. So watch out. And I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a like or subscribe and let me know what you think of Bunnahabhain or this independent bottler. And see you next time. Bye bye.